Welcome. Now, what I wanted to do is highlight some of the obvious reasons why people think they're getting a divorce. Okay, the main reasons people usually cite for a divorce is things like alcohol addiction, no intimacy affairs, so on and so forth. But in my experience of working with hundreds of clients, thousands of clients, I get insight into what's going on in the world and what's really causing a divorce. And from my research and my personal experience, I've actually realized that it's not these big major things that you think is causing a divorce. Actually, I've narrowed it down to just two archetypes that tend to cause a divorce. Let's play a quick game. I'll ask a quick random questions and see if you could answer them. So the first question, you meet someone that you really want to be with, but she says they just want to be friends. What do you do in that situation? Do you also pretend you want to be friends? Do you become friends hoping that one day she'll change her mind and date you? Or you decline their offer to be friends? So what would you do in that situation? Okay, keep it to yourself. I'll ask a second question. Your partner stops being physically intimate with you. What is your reaction? Do you not notice not care? That you have no problem with that? Do you begin to have an affair nicely outside of the relationship? You have a conversation to make it clear that you need more intimacy? Or you have a huge explosive fight which makes your partner even less attracted to you and divorce her? Okay, next question. You see flirtatious messages between your partner and a mystery person. Do you confront them immediately? Do you think about it and then discuss? Do you avoid asking and pretend you haven't seen anything, or you worry how you will explain to them how you caught them? Do you worry more about the fact that they might be angry that you were snooping? And finally, how do you resolve fights? Do you say sorry to keep the peace? Do you wait for them to apologize? Do you take accountability but address what needs to be changed? Or you just avoid the confrontation? Okay, now if you answered along the lines, I was kind of trying to avoid the conversation, avoid confrontations, avoid any kind of emotional tensions, then you're probably the nice guy. Now, this in terms of men seems to be the number one predictor of what leads to a failure relationships. I know that we hear so much about the narcissist, we hear so much about the toxic guy, but we know about them. Yeah, we know that that's going to cause a divorce. And most women don't marry those men. They end up being with them for a bit of time and realize they can't be in a long term abusive relationship. But this is the hidden killer, the nice guy. And here's what nice guy essentially looks like. Firstly, I have yet to meet a nice guy that doesn't have some childhood concerns. And what I mean by childhood issues is usually they grew up in a broken home. Not necessarily broken, but they have some kind of disconnect with their father. And at very least, they might have had a very passive father at the very extreme end. They had a very neglectful or abusive or alcoholic father, something along those lines, which made them over identify with their mother. And what I mean by over identifying with your mother is you assume your mother was correct in everything she said, and as a result, they become submissive to women in general. They tend to believe women in every way, shape, or form, and they really seek female approval. They disconnect with the males in their life, particularly their father. And then they seem to think women essentially are the only people you should care about. Their approval matters more than anything. It doesn't mean any really with a broken home, it's only when their mother was excessively a victim. When the mother took no accountability, she put her needs first, maybe blocked access, or maybe may poisoned his mind against their father, there tends to be the making of a nice guy. What happens then is because they don't have access to their father, or because they feel like if their father, because they feel like if they speak to their father, their mom's going to be mad at them. They really tupped her around female approval. They go into the real world thinking that as long as a woman approves of my behavior, that's the only thing I need in life. I need female approval. Male's approval doesn't matter. But the problem is they learn about female approval from their mother. And what makes your mother approves of you is not what women will approve of you. And what I mean by that is your mother wants somebody who's non-confrontational. Your mother wants somebody who is passive, and she just wants someone who's non-sexual, of course, because it's her child. They take all of these skills and apply it to women in the real world. They'll be obedient, they'll be submissive, non-confrontation, and then non-sexual with women in the real world. As a result, they avoid confrontation like the plague with women, with men, they'll not so bad. So you'll meet a lot of nice guys at work. They're very, very harsh, and they can be very stern with men, but with women, they avoid all confrontation. So what that looks like is they will ignore their own needs to ensure she approves of him as long as she's happy. And they think happy wife, happy life. Now, I know that sounds great, but unfortunately, you need to have more autonomy on what makes you happy rather than just submitting to partners. Submitting to your woman doesn't necessarily create happy life. It creates inauthenticity. So they avoid confrontation like the plague. Then, as a result of these behaviors, they have low sex appeal. Women are not attracted to submissive men. They're not attracted to obedient men. They can use them really well. They can use them because maybe they think at least he won't cheat on me, so I'll just pick him. Or at least he won't be in the club every night. I'll just pick him. At least he doesn't get a lot of girls. He'll buy me this and that. They won't necessarily be hyper attracted to this man. And as a result, they usually don't ignite that desire in women, so they have a nativity about women. They start to think women are just non sexual. Women won't have affairs. Women don't like sex. So, what that leads to is they allow their woman to kind of do whatever she wants because in their mind, they think she would never have an affair. She doesn't even like sleeping with me. She doesn't like kisses. She doesn't like all that thing. They don't realize they make her not like that. They make her maybe with you, she might not like sex, or maybe with you, she might not like intimacy, but she's still an intimate person. She would never touch you, but she would touch him. And they become very naive. And as a result, these men tend to experience divorce without doing anything wrong. They haven't done anything. They haven't done anything bad to their partners. They're not like that guy that you hear that has been drinking and aggressive, and they actually haven't done anything wrong, but they find themselves divorced or cheated on again and again and again. So if they are innocent, then why do they always find themselves on the losing side? I would like to know your point of view. Type your comment down below. So this seems to be my number one cause of divorce. So if you want to know, because number two, why people divorce, then make sure to subscribe and turn all notification not to miss. Thank you for watching. See you on part 2 of this.